Says we're live. Hi,
Fantastic.
live people. It always says we're
Hey,
live before we're live because it says setting up, but I know we're live, and then I gotta mute
we're
it.
always live even if we don't think we're live. That's we're alive even if we don't think we are. You thought we'd got the hang of this by now, Phil, wouldn't you?
Well, I do, but it like on the screen, it's like processing. So it's just the way it is. So, and then I have to wait because I gotta mute it, otherwise you hear it playing at the same time. So it's just this funky little doodad I need to do. Doodaddy. do.
So Phil, we've lost our guest.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'm just attending an emergency back treatment. I'll probably be out of here in an hour. So I'm just going to reply and go, okay.
as soon as you've done that, we're going to start because people people are watching us dither over here. Come on, Phil. Hi,
Well,
Tim on YouTube. We're about to start.
and we know we're live, Tim. I just was trying to get our guest to jump on. Anyway, we've got another subject which is perfect. So Phil, let's crack on.
Well, I'm Phil,
And I'm Phil.
and we're here. I know we've been here for like 3 minutes already, but you've been like, "What are they doing?" But this is the Phil and Phil show. Another episode.
We're here. We're unscripted. We're raw. We're real. As authentic as we possibly can be, guys. So, this is just the reality of doing our best to run a live, authentic show. A bit of light so we can see. I'm having problems with my
So
lighting.
I typed in the title this week, Detox Magic, because you said that's what we're doing. So apparently we're doing detox.
Oh, fab. So,
Yeah.
Detox Magic. So we've got a guest on for a guest. We've got a watcher on from Lebanon. So, Phil, where do we start with the
Well,
Detox Magic?
I'm doing a little saging. We'll just clear the energy because that's all part of detox.
Okay, I'm going to do this colored mirrors. Colored mirror system is a system that was created in Africa by a lady called Melissa Jolie. So Melissa, if you're ever watching, hi, and yeah, just give a spray feel. This is air. It's called. This will just help us clear the air, which is what it's all about. We've got clear and air, clear the air. This one's air dragon, so this will connect us up to the air elemental dragons. I love that feeling when I can feel we just gently drop in. And hi everyone, because I feel like I've actually just arrived. It's been another busy raw food awakening detox day as usual. And it's nice to stop, and it's always nice to stop and check in with Phil. It's my brother from the other side of the ocean. Um, so, detox magic. Where do we start? And I'm guessing that's the question that really everybody has, isn't it? When they want to embark on a detox, the question is, where do I start? How do I start? Where's the beginning? What's the first step? What's the next step? What's the outcome? And I guess, it's a little bit, it's like our show, and if we actually kind of knew all the steps, then we'd have done the show years ago, right? But we started the show and we didn't have a clue what the steps were, apart from let's chat let's go on Zoom, let's chat. Oh, let's record it. You haven't pressed record, Phil. But I guess it's on YouTube, so we're all right. That's it's captured that. But this will give us the MP3 version of it, won't it, for different platforms? So for the recording purposes now, detox magic, the magic of detox. I was just talking about where do we start? What's the first step? What's the next step? How do we do it? Um, I guess the first thing is deciding. I guess that's the first step, Phil, isn't it? Just deciding.
Well, I would say knowing that the body's always detoxing, it's always cleansing and detoxing. It's just part of it. It's a natural process. So when you go into planning a detox, know that you're really just finding different ways to support the body in its own process. So we're not doing anything. We're kind of just, and as Tim said on YouTube just now, is like it was stopping. So we're actually stopping doing some things that then allows the body to do its natural processes of detox.
So it's like great question here is how do you find the time for all the washing and preparing? So I guess if you're diving into the gourmet end of raw food, I'm guessing that's a raw food question rather than a detox question. Um, when you get to the point that I've now got to in my diet, it's really simple. And I think one of the biggest challenges people get when they first get into the raw food is they get into it through the gourmet food. And actually, yeah, I don't have time and I can't be bothered. That's the real answer. Is it's too complicated. The point that I've got to now is a date, an apple, a banana, an orange. Not one at a time, maybe you have 6, 8, 10, 15 oranges. It depends what's in season and what else you've got. A fruit salad's really easy. You just get a bowl, get some fruit, chop it up, chuck it in, get some frozen berries or cherries and let them defrost a little bit or let them defrost totally. So yeah, that's what lots of people try and replicate that um that kind of what we call nourishing and nurturing food. And actually so the comments now come in is that's enough nutrition. Yes, the gourmet part is overwhelming. Exactly, the gourmet part's overwhelming, and actually it's number one, it's not sustainable. Number two, it's not really very good for you. It's great for me now. That's party food, right? If Phil was to come round to my house, we got in the kitchen, we would probably, well, he's not going to come around my house. Number one, he's in America. Number two, it's locked down, so he can't come anyway. But if he did come, we would probably jump in the kitchen and do all sorts of crazy things and make an amazing gourmet meal because we're both chefs, right? We're both trained in gourmet food, and that's what we do. So yeah. So gourmet is overwhelming, absolutely. So yeah, the gourmet's party food. It's great transitioning food, but it's a lot of work. So I'm going to let Phil carry on there, and then there's another question I'm going to answer in a minute. But I know I've just took the stage.
Well, I don't know which question you're going to answer there. I'm just
Oh,
well,
yeah, okay, Phil. So I was just talking about oranges, bananas, apples, and someone's
mhm,
put up, and that's
yeah,
enough nutrition.
right. Well, yeah. Let me jump in here. So this is a lot of questions here. So finding the time, preparing, washing. I mean, I think it's interesting in today's world. We're just so used to the fast food where everything's like, but the reality is fast food is like there's a lot of energy and time that's gone into getting that to you, whether it's the quick meal that you heat up in the microwave or throw it in the pot on the stove. We're kind of used to the illusion that that's fast food, but the reality is there's a lot of time and energy that's gone into that. So I think when you're stepping into a live food diet, raw food diet, healthy living, juicing, it's about reprioritizing and realizing that that's the foundation. So I think it's really important to find time to prepare that and make that part of your lifestyle of like getting your celery, washing it and juicing it. And eventually it's like, oh, this is actually really easy. So yeah, there's the gourmet stuff that you can make raw lasagnas and pizzas, but the basic prep stuff in terms of prepping celery for celery juice or making a smoothie, once you get the hang of it, or making nut milk, I love making nut milk. Once you get into the flow, like initially it's like, oh my god, nut milk! I can just buy, nut milk off at the supermarket, and it's fast and easy. But once you get into the hang of it, it's actually really really fast to make something like that. It's really fast to make a smoothie. It's really easy to make a salad. Like you have the lettuce, all you need to do is wash it. It's a really fast process. But if you're thinking, oh, I got to recreate the foods that I'm used to, then it's gonna take a lot longer. I mean, if and even if it's something you like, soups. Like my mom loves soups. Susan makes great. This is cooked food soups. Actually, when you get the hang of it, it's really fast. You just throw the vegetables in a pot, and pretty much there. So you can make it fast, and you can get good nutrition. Jumping into what Phil does in terms of like just oranges, bananas, and apples, probably too big a step for somebody who's brand new to it. They're going to detox too fast. Definitely incorporate as much of that as possible, but it's not going to be your first step, I would say. It's going to be like, okay, maybe eventually. And maybe Phil's going to address this too. When you're brand new, it's probably not enough nutrition. Or it might be enough nutrition, but your body's not used to absorbing that. So it's like this, it's just foreign to your body. It's not used to taking in the nutrients from that type of food. So you might feel depleted. You might like, I'm not getting enough food. I remember when I started on raw food and I was eating immense amounts of bananas, and I was still hungry. It's like, but now it's like a couple of bananas, and I'm satisfied. So it's like there's a your body will change and shift, and I think it's like I think Tim says it there. Like, do you go? I like to say cold cucumber. He said cold turkey, or do you take it slowly? And it's a mix of the two. I cold. It's like it's listening to your body, and there might be leaps where you just like totally embrace all raw food, and there might be other times where it's like you just get in celery juice in every day and you don't change anything else. Like that's a good start.
So actually, I would say towards detoxing, the most important step is organic. This is the thing Phil and I talk about all the time. People want to jump into detox. They want to jump into this new lifestyle. Do you know what? To start with, just do the same thing and be organic. It's I can't emphasize enough. And we probably talk about this every week on the show. Is organic is probably the most essential first step anyone can ever take, especially in detoxification, because just going organic, the amount of detoxing you're going to do, your body is going to go, oh my God, they haven't loaded me up for the day. So, to start with just going organic, the body's going to go, my God, what am I going to do? I've now got, imagine you've got 3 meals a day of pesticide toxic laden food going into your body. And all of a sudden, your pesticide toxic residues have been reduced by about 25, 30, 25. I was going to say, sorry, by 75 to 80%. And that's a massive amount of movement or space, time, allowance. I'm not sure what the right word is for your body to sit back and go, oh my God, they love me. I can now do some work. Because instead of it's like having a trash can, a bin, a rubbish bin, whatever you want to call it, and you're just sticking stuff in and jumping on the top. Well, once you stop putting it in, all of a sudden your body can go, I can start to sort this now. So actually, your first step, I reckon, is organic. First step. Second step would be water quality. Check your water quality. Just get a cheap filter to start with. Then get a better quality filter, because that's your water's really important. Drink mineral water. That's a good step. I'm not actually a fan of mineral water, but it's better than tap water, right? It's a step. And then my favorite thing, as you can see, I walk my talk, right? This is a smoothie. This is my evening meal. great way of getting liquid nutrition in. Everything in there is
You
it.
got
I was
spirulina in there, I see.
Yeah, that's what the
Probably.
green is, Phil. Spirulina.
Yeah.
So spirulina is a really dense, nutritionally rich food. I never liked it when I first started, but now I love it. I absolutely adore it, and I feel so much more robust when I eat that. I live in Lebanon, and the organic is not trustworthy in the area, but that is what is available here. Well, again, do the best you can. Washing your vegetables, that's a really interesting one, right? Because I know I'll fill this question when I'm finished. I I've done loads of things for washing my veg, but what I ended up buying was an ozonator.
Mm.
I bought an ozonator from eBay for about, I'm going to use pounds, £25, £30, something like that. And then I bought one of those trug buckets that are about that round and about yay deep, so probably about 16 inches across and probably 14 inches deep, something like that. Fill it up 3/4 with water, stick the tube. Yes, I have one and use it, soak and scrub. Yeah, see, oh, very good. So they say, yes, I have one and I use it, soaking and scrubbing everything. So once I ozonate, I never scrub because
Just
anything
let it
that's in
soak,
there,
right? Just let it sit.
I just let it sit. And if it's really dirty, then yeah, of course I scrub it. But to be fair, since I've been on fruit, it's all peelable.
Right.
It's all peelable, and my whole washing malarkey has gone right out the window. I mean, I spent 20 years washing my vegetables, and in the last year, I just, I just haven't bothered. And it's really interesting, yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you've got an ozonator, for me personally, I'm not telling you what to do. This is what I do. If it's muddy, I scrub it. If it isn't muddy, I don't scrub it because ozone's a very powerful thing. If you let your stuff sit in ozone for, well, what I do is I stick the water in, stick the ozone bubbler in, stick the vegetables in, and then it does a cycle for 10 minutes. So I do that cycle, and then I just leave it sit for 3 or 4 minutes. Then I pull my vegetables out. If they're muddy, I scrub them off. If they're not muddy, no way. I just leave because the ozone's pretty cool, and you need a little bit. You need a little bit in your body. I don't know. What's your take, Phil? I've been rabbiting for ages.
No, you're doing great. Yeah, no, a little bit of ozone's good. A little extra oxygen. Yeah, and it's really just doing the best you can, like setting that intention that you want to eat all organic, and then just finding the best you can, like just making that your intention. But yeah, if supply is a challenge, you just got to keep setting that intention that's what you want to put into your body every single day. Connected to organic, that I think is just as well as organic, yes, and we've got to bring in that the whole. It has to be whole food because there is a lot of organic products on the market that are junk food too. So whole and organic, I think is like that's the foundation. Whole and organic, and then pure water. Just I think that's an important mantra there because so many organic products come into the market that may be good, but may oftentimes it's just processed, more processed stuff. So,
So the next question, Phil, is very specific to the products that I import from America, and it's very specific to Lou Corona's work.
oh, okay.
It's like, so if organic ozonated produce is available, how do I use Puridyne products to completely detox? Well, the Puridyne products on their own won't completely detox you. What they'll do is they will support you. So keys to add in there again, which is what Phil was saying, juice is really important. Celery juice is the latest craze, but you know what? Celery juice is amazing. Dr. Norman Walker, that was an amazing advocate of juicing and healing, phenomenal man. Back in when was he around, Phil? The 40s,
50s, I think. Yeah.
50s. he was a really big deal on juice, and celery was one of his basics. I know when I trained at the Tree of Life, and Phil was running the Tree of Life in America, the Rejuvenation Center. The base was celery, wasn't it, Phil, for the green juices?
Always, yeah, tons of celery.
Always celery.
Celery,
So
cucumber too. A lot of cucumber, which is
yeah,
great.
a lot of celery, a lot of cucumber. So it's really important to be juicing. It's really important to be juicing. It's really important for me. Smoothies. Well, I'll tell you a little story now. When I was at the Tree of Life training with Phil, and I was doing a regime recommended by Gabriel Cousins, and I was off all nuts and seeds, and I got really weak. I mean, I nearly collapsed, and Phil's like, "Let me take you to my kitchen." So Phil took me down to his little kitchen, and he got a blender, and he put in. Can you remember this actual time, Phil?
I don't even remember this. You have to jog
You
my memory.
you put me in your Jeep. You had a red Jeep. You took me in the
Uh-huh.
Jeep. You drove me down to your room in the center,
Hmm.
and you put a lump of aloe vera, bee pollen, a bit of honey, all the different superfoods. I can't remember nut milk because nut milk was always your thing. Probably some
Still, it
almond.
still is.
Yeah, probably some almond butter and spirulina. And literally, I went ping within 5 minutes of drinking that smoothie, and it was like, right. So I've had a smoothie virtually every single day since that day, and that was May, I think, in 2005.
Right.
That's 16
And,
years. I've had a
yeah.
smoothie nearly every day, no matter where I am in the world. I've had a smoothie. So for me, smoothies are really important. And the thing about, so what do you recommend for a complete detox? Detoxing. What I've learned now is, right, detoxing is the long game. It's not a short game. It's like investing in, we were talking about cryptocurrencies earlier. It's like investing in cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin. It's the long game. Short term detox, yeah, sure, you can get results. You can also get yourself really sick. The detox, yeah, the release of toxins into the body can be overwhelming. So
So,
actually, go on, Phil.
well, the term comes in is slow and steady wins the race when it comes to detox.
You took
Absolutely critical.
you took the words right out of my
That's my
mouth.
favorite thing. It's like people go, oh, I'm going to detox for a week and then that's it. It's like, no, detoxing is lifelong. It's like you're always doing it. So, like going back to what I said earlier, it's like your body is always detoxing. So it's like it's a constant process of tuning more into your body. And detoxing for one person might be just drinking more water. For another person, it's going on a 7 week juice fast. It's like there's extremes. Or another person is just like stopping eating non-organic foods. So there's all different levels depending on where you're at, and you've just got to tune into your body, and there's no one's got an answer for you. It's like it's just learn about detox, learn about fasting, learn about cleansing, learn about elimination of junk foods, because like in the end it's you living with yourself and finding what works for you. So
So yeah, so I get that. You're in for the long term, which is great, but you want to do it right. So this is what we're sharing with you now: is doing it right, and gently, gently wins the race. And it's yeah, cravings are a real challenge. Depending on what you're craving depends on what's going on, and cravings are a challenge for all of us always, aren't they, Phil? Right through the
mhm.
journey.
Yeah.
Our craving, my cravings now, I find myself wanting an energy bar, always a raw one, but and I normally have really simple ones, dates and nuts of some description, and chocolate. I'm always craving chocolate, so I just make sure that I don't have it every day. Um, but so the cravings are there because of what's going on. So depending on what you're craving. So let's say you're craving salt, that's going to be an adrenal issue. Let's say sugar cravings what I didn't know until recently, the adrenals actually govern sugar utilization. So if your diet's high fat, you also can't absorb the sugar, which therefore will lead to things like bloating, weight gain. So the sugar needs to get into the cells as quickly as possible. So cooked food cravings, potato, gluten-free pasta, potato. I'll tell you what, potatoes. I would swap potatoes for sweet potatoes. That's a great swap, isn't it, Phil?
Yeah, although I do eat some potatoes occasionally, so
Uh, yeah, yeah, exactly. Occasionally, but if you're craving potatoes, potatoes are a mass weight gainer. So sweet potatoes don't seem to do the same thing. And if you're craving pasta, what I used to eat was wheat free pasta. So it was made out of rice. I think what did I used to eat? Rice and vegetable pasta. And I'll tell you what, that's amazing. And I'll never put on that. Well, I lost weight eating that stuff.
yeah,
It's
there's lots of options now of wheat
it's
free pasta.
incredible.
So
So
yeah,
make sure in your cupboard that you've got alternatives to what so it's kind of honor the craving. So swap potatoes for sweet potatoes or yams. Swap, gluten-free pasta depending on what what pasta you are. Yeah, no wheat products at home. That's amazing because wheat's like it's it's just poison to human beings really. Especially now, it's terrible stuff. Um when you're looking at weight, yeah. So okay, so let's go through there. So I mean, great. This is great questions because it really helps us to be quite specific with the show. So first thing I would do now is I would shut your eating window down if you can. I would stop eating by 8 o'clock at night, and if you can, don't eat anything until 8 o'clock in the morning. You can drink water in that time. I mean, you could have juice if you really wanted to. Shut your opening window, your window of eating down. I would have a juice every day. So I know, for instance, right, what Phil and I do, and I don't know if Phil does this every day. I don't do it every day, but I aim to do it every day. So I have lemon and lime water. I do that every single day. Then I have a celery juice, and I do my best to do that every day. Some days I can't, but nearly every day. Then I go into a smoothie. So mine's a very liquid diet. So if you're not digesting properly, and so everybody, if you're not digesting properly, you're not eliminating properly, the first thing I would put you on is a intestinal cleanse. I would go on, for this person that's asking me now, the Puridyne products that I know because I use them and I distribute them. I would use the Puridyne cleanse, Pura cleanse, and to start with, I would do like 1 teaspoon once a day, and first thing in the morning, if you're doing celery juice, it's best to do it away from your celery juice, only 20 minutes or something. So start off with a teaspoon a day, see how you react to that. If you're okay on a teaspoon a day, this is the powdered one, but it's a little bit hardcore, so you could take capsules. So I start on 3. Take 3 capsules once a day, see how you get on. So that's about half a teaspoon. Then build up to a teaspoon. Then just monitor it 2 or 3 days, see how you get on. Building up to a tablespoon, or I think in a pot there's a scoop, which is about 10 capsules, something like that. Just build up to that, see how you get on. If you can tolerate that, then you do that twice a day. But you've got to build up. You've got to get to know yourself. You've got to understand your body because it will come out. There's no doubt about that. And with the food cravings, actually, one of the best ways to stop that is a parasite cleanse. So herbal blood is Puridyne. I love Puridyne products. They're really pure. Phil works for a great manufacturing company in America, so I'm sure Phil will share with you the equivalent of whatever that they do. So herbal blood with a parasite cleanse. You need to do that for 90 days because parasite cycles. Adult eggs is 90 days. So you need to do that for 90. If you don't, it's not a big deal. Starting is really important. And without getting complicated, that's a really good place to start, is doing um, the intestinal cleanse. Oh, great. I have the cleanse pills and take 4 every morning. Cool. So if you're fine on 4 every morning, up it. Just up it until, I mean, the best way is take them until you have to run to the toilet. And then that's your maximum limit. And then back off a little bit. And when you back off a little bit, that will give you your comfort limit so you can go about your daily life. Because it's no fun if you can't get to the toilet. It's, I'm sure anyone that's done detox, we've all been there, right? So it really is about getting to know yourself. Because when I first started the cleanse, I was taking 2 scoops twice a day, and it was too much. I couldn't carry on with my normal work. So if you're doing over an extended period of time, then you need to be able to function. If you want to get on and take a week or 2 weeks off, then you can really go for it and play with it. Just be aware of how ill you make yourself feel. If you can't get off the toilet, you're taking too much. If you feel rubbish, you're taking too much, and you've got to back off. Phil nor I can tell you exactly what to do because we're not you. I know what I can do. Phil knows what he can do, but he's been at it a long, I've been at it 20 odd years, and so's Phil. So, but that, I'm not going to overwhelm you with things to do, because that's crucial. Clearing your intestinal tract with the cleanse is probably the biggest gift you will ever give yourself. And some people just need to take those pills for, I don't know, 6 months or a year. But you've just got to keep going at it. You can do it. You can go in hard for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, back off. But I'm taking over again. Go, just add in whatever your experiences are. Oh, what products, by the way, because you're in America, even though Puridyme is an American brand, what? Oh, I'm just going to plug myself here. If you need any Puridyme products, I think I'll have to look into it. Send them to, where did you say you were? Lebanon. I can check in because it's all export, so I haven't really Lebanon. Since we left the EU, well, actually, Lebanon's never been in the EU anyway, has it? So I'm pretty sure I could probably send you some there if you need me to. So, and we'll have a personal chat at some point. So yeah, Phil, products. What are your favorite detox products?
I was just, yeah, there's an overwhelming topic. Like we're just like there's a lot going on here at the same time. But just kind of going back, let's just go an overview. So drinking more water, critical, number one foundation, especially first thing in the morning. Getting that lemon water, liter, quart lemon water first thing in the morning, and throughout the day. Like that is critical, especially when you're detoxing. You need even more water because it's flushing, as they say, the old adage, the solution to pollution is dilution. So
Yeah, so just to add in there, just in case people want to do juice, in my opinion, juice is more powerful for dissolving and hydrating than water. So if you're doing juice, don't worry about the water. Just get the juice in. It's fine because
right,
it's
and that's what enhances water is like a little bit of lemon. It can be that really kind of breaks down the mucus. Really helpful. So. But like Phil said, the movement is really critical. For some people, herbal movers are good. Some other people like to do enemas or colonics, and that can be real helpful. I personally don't like enemas and colonics. I don't know if it's just my digestive system is more sensitive, but other people do great on that. So if you haven't got that movement, you might want to do a series of colonics if that's available in your area, or get an enema bag and do some enemas. I know you do enemas, Phil, so
I had a
just get
clonic.
it.
I had a clonic the other day, Phil.
That's great. I just, for some reason, I just don't feel well after I do colonics. I don't know if I've just not found a good therapist, but I don't feel so good after I do it. So, And I don't think I'm that toxic, but who knows, you know? So you never know. But a lot of the other things you said is just like bringing in those smoothies. So if you got those cravings, get in that smoothie with, spirulina in there can be just really satisfy those cravings. It's finding getting that nutrition into your body, whatever's available to you, whether it's moringa powder or spirulina or just what's available in your area, getting that nutrition in, and smoothies can be really helpful. So we tend to crave towards potatoes or cooked foods because we're kind of craving that density. So there's an emotional component to that, but there's also like, well, it's dense, I'll feel better. But if you can get that foundation of that good smoothie into your body, it's going to help you feel better. So
So what was I was just about to ask you? So what's your
no,
favorite? What's your favorite superfood right now, Phil?
well, I was going to just add in, I'm actually really enjoying magnesium right now. So I know it's not really a superfood, but I've been like, I've been having a sensitive heart issue, and magnesium definitely moves your bowel too. So, and I'm doing a blend of different magnesiums, and that's been really helpful for me. So I'm really enjoying taking magnesium every day. So high quality magnesium can help with the elimination, the digestion, support the heart, and magnesium supports, so it's one of like the cofactor minerals to so many enzymatic and processes in the body. So magnesium is really, really, really useful. So and it helps
So
to kind of calm you down, de-stress, helps with sleep, all those things.
so the next question that's come in is coffee enemas. So coffee enemas are a really big thing, but you know what? For the majority of us, I don't think they're great because they really hit the adrenals hard. And also the coffee goes straight into the bloodstream. There's no liver to filter it out. So it hits the bloodstream hard, hits the central nervous system hard. Most of us are very sensitive. And I think most of the people that listen to our show are people seeking and looking. And consequently, I think most of us are very sensitive. So for coffee, I avoid it. I've played with it, definitely. But man, it used to make me a jittering mess. So the thing from having found Professor Arnold Ehret and his work, lemon enemas are absolutely crucial. So they're alkalizing, remineralizing, but what they get out is just unreal. I mean, they really are fantastic. Celery juice, if you drink enough, again with celery juice, whoever wants to start celery juice, what would you say was a good amount to start? Because I mean, it really affected me in the beginning.
You might want to start with just 4 to 8 ounces or something, just to begin with, like, and slowly work your way up. Um,
Yeah, because now I drink 32 ounces every day.
mhm.
So I'm on it in England. It's a liter, so I do a liter of it every day. So with the lemon enemas, you want to start on about. I would start on like half a lemon juice, and then do a whole lemon juice, and then blend the whole thing. I mean, if you're brave, get the whole lemon, stick it in a blender with your enema water, blend it up, and sieve it. I think sieving it's quite crucial. So sieve it out. Wow, you drink a lemon ginger blast every day. You're right on it. Good on you. How much water blended with the lemon? Um, you can do you can to start with. Just do a normal. If you've got a 2 liter enema bag, just do half a juice of lemon in there, and then so your 2 liters of water, half a lemon juice, then do a whole lemon juice, then do a whole lemon in the same amount of water. You can. I mean, Brother Air that was doing it, I think he got to 14 lemons.
But maybe that's too much for the average person.
Exactly. Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's all about you just start, and the key is to hold it in as long as you possibly can. That's the key because then the lemon juice will start to work. Some people do it in two phases, so they'll do like 1 liter of it, clean it out. The second liter, try and hold it in. There's lots of different techniques and ways to do it. But yeah, that's great.
How are things over there in terms of getting outside? I'm looking up Lebanon and lockdowns, so I'm just wondering how that is, and are you able to get in movement, walking, rebounding, getting outside in nature? Because you're doing all this detox, which kind of sometimes can get a little heady. So it's really important to get it if you can get outside and reconnect with nature
Yeah, get
and
your shoes off.
walking. Yep, if that's possible where you're at, I'm not sure.
Even if you
So
just got some dirt in your yard at home or some grass, get your shoes off. Make sure that you connect with the earth every day. Even if you're not detoxing, it's really great. I have to remind myself of that. Get your shoes
yeah,
off, even if it's just running across the grass to get a banana out of my little store or going up to the
yeah.
greenhouse.
Yeah, because often we will get into our head with all of this and go, well, it's just about the food. It's just about this food, and it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, we got to expand this out and go, okay, well, it's the air I'm breathing. It's being in nature. There's an emotional aspect to it. It's like there's these layers, and sometimes we'll go, oh, I'm gonna detox. I'm gonna go on a fast and a cleanse, and then we get into our head, and it's like come down into the heart space and realize that detox is you're detoxing from everything, from media, from stress, from craziness of the world, from cell phones. Like we could, there's like lots of things. There's about tuning into the body and coming into a different pace, into a different cycle. Like you're tuning into the natural rhythms of the body from the stress of the world and the things that have caused you to get toxic and bloated and not feeling so good. Um, somebody else is joining us here. I'm going to admit them. Don't know who it is.
That's
Uh,
Our Lady.
well, I think that's important. If you have to take a car to go for a walk, just to do that, it's important. I'll go for a drive to the park with my dogs every day because it's really important to, I mean, we're in the desert here in Phoenix, but there is trees and there is some grass, and just even the visual aspect of like looking at the green, looking at the trees, getting your feet on the earth is really, really critical. Because but if you stay down, oh yes, lockdown is flexible, they say. So that's good. That's really, really important, and that will you start to get into the cycles and the rhythms, the natural rhythms of the earth, and that is critical to detox. Because otherwise, you just like I say, you just get stuck in your head with it all. So.
So there's another Jenna, we'll let you on in a minute. I'm just going to answer this. There's a question specifically regarding. Hey, Jenna, she's on. She's jumped in. There's a
Don't hear
question.
you right now. You're muted. You have to unmute yourself when you're ready.
So there's a question here specifically about the herbal blood. Herbal blood take first thing in the morning. Around the same time as Purazyme, sort of 3 to 5 minutes apart is fine. Pure Life, I would take those last thing at night before bed. Cleanse, I would take that in the morning is relatively early. Lifetime lipase. So lipase is if you're taking Purazyme, lipase, that's something you can add, but for doing a cleanse, that's very, very specific. Lipase is if you've got liver issues and you're not digesting your fats properly, lipase would then come in.
Well, if there's
Lifetime,
if there's excess fat, if you've been overeating on fats, it can be really helpful because it can
ab-
get into the bloodstream and start to break that down. So,
absolutely.
depending on the individual, lipase might be helpful.
Lifetime, so Purazyme you can take with juice. Lifetime is designed to be taken with food. So it's a digestive enzyme. Lipase, I imagine you're going to take it very similar to Purazyme, which is away from food on an empty stomach. You can take it with juice, it's fine. Protease, again, I mean, you don't really need the protease when you're taking Purazyme because Purazyme is very high in protease. Protease is a protein enzyme, so it's designed to break down proteins, but Purazyme, because it's proteolytic, and it's designed to be taken between meals, then that is very, very high in protease. But protease is a good thing to add in maybe when you're eating and you're eating a high, like nuts or spirulina or something that's high protein. But again, protease are supposed to take on an empty stomach again. But it sounds here like you're going to get too complicated to me. So I would do herbal blood, Purazyme, Pure Life at night, and the cleanse. You don't really at that stage need lysozyme, protease, and lipase because you're going to make your life too difficult. You got to you remembering in England and America, I think we say this the same, which is KISS, keep it stupidly simple. If you make it too complicated, and I can tell you this hands up right now, nothing will happen. You won't do it. To keep it simple, herbal blood's great, Purazyme's great, Pure Cleanse is great. Pure Life is an adage, it's a good one, but you could save the Pure Life if you want until you come out of your cleanse to help you rebuild. Because if you're taking too many things, it gets too complicated and you'll end up doing nothing. And you'll end up binging, you're just going to end, yeah, absolutely. You've just replied to me there. Yeah, you're right. Complicated and it's overwhelming. Absolutely it is. So back off, put the lipase and the protease in the cupboard and the lysozyme. If you're going to detox, put the lysozyme, the protease, and the lipase in the cupboard, and you could put Pure Life back in the cupboard and stick on herbal blood, Purazyme, and the cleanse, and really get that nailed down. And when you're happy with that, then start adding in other things.
All right. So, Phil, do we want to like segue here and then because this we're kind of doing a consultation. Pretty much the whole show has been a consultation on detox. It
Yeah.
almost needs like a separate show or a separate connection with this person, which we still don't know your name. So
No,
you
we
just
still don't know your name. So
the male or female or something in Lebanon. We don't know who you are or
I
anything.
think it's a
So
lady, but you know what though? Even
we love
so,
you. I don't.
it's been a very
I always say
precise.
it's awesome. Like we love
It's
this,
been
but
a
I think it's
really
like
precise
yeah.
show, and it's really useful. I'm hoping it's useful for anyone that's watching. So we're going to wrap that up now, and we've got our guest. We've got the lovely Jenna,
Hello.
been rescuing somebody in pain.
You're one of my neighbours.
So Jenna, I met. She created a beautiful little festival. It's one of my favourite festivals on the circuit. It was called Rest Fest, if I've got that right, haven't I?
Yeah.
And one of the things I loved about it was the irony was on one half of the field was a party tent and the other half of the field was a healing field. So it was, it was great. There was half the people that were really into it and understanding what we were doing with the raw food, the sauna, the detox, the trampolining, people get it. And then there's the other side that were like, what are you guys doing?
There were people taking ease and whatever on the other side of the field.
So, it was, but it was great. It was one of my favorite events of the season. So, Jenna, a lot's happened. And I
Yeah.
know that was 2014 I last saw you.
Yeah.
So a lot's happened. You don't need to go into all of that. Just a lot's happened. So we've just been on a detox journey with our guests, and I know that your venture now is very much into that with people.
Yeah.
So I don't know where you want to start. I don't know what to ask you. I've been loving your Instagram. I've been loving following your cupping and what you've been saying about builders because
Yeah, I'm learning so much with cupping as well, because that's detoxing on a much deeper level, which I didn't know when I trained in it. They just teach you what it does for you for physical ailments, really, but because I've got a background in so many other things, I'm able to kind of tune in and see what it's doing for people on a deeper level. And I'm having the most amazing healing crises with people as you're cupping. It kind of it draws out any blockages that you've got in your your energy flow, basically, in your and so I don't just treat my people and then my clients and then they go. I'm checking up on them constantly because they're experiencing healing crises, as all this stuff that they didn't even know they were still holding on to is coming up to the surface. I experienced it myself, and that's how I knew how powerful it was. And so it's okay talking about how you can detox with food all the time, which I do with people. But there are other ways to kind of draw out all this gunk. It's often, because often it's emotional gunk as well. It's not just toxins. Some of these toxins in your body are caused from trauma and just life. So with my clients, I like to hit them with the kind of juice cleanses and raw food, but also do the physical therapy that's gonna. And I'm also qualified in NLP, so I can kind of get in and reprogram their head as well if they need it. And then also I trained quite a lot. We had some shaman come to the festival, and I really, really spent a lot of time with them, and actually got attuned like my first 5 or 6 Munaiki rites. And I really felt that changed me as a healer as well. I really kind of opened something up. And it also made me understand NLP more, because I could see that your thoughts are actually energy, and kind of working with it. And it's just a whole thing, isn't it, that I think is misunderstood, that, you see a mind doctor separately to your wellness coach, and people are seeing all these different people. And I really love the fact that I can treat that whole person. And so that's where I'm at the moment, just treating like the whole person.
So one of the things to add into your cupping, I was down with a friend of mine the other day, Philip Weeks, that's an amazing acupuncturist. He's now studying, I think this is his 4th acupuncture discipline that he studied, and he's been teaching for like 15 years, and he's now doing Taoist acupuncture. And they're looking at now releasing the blood. So he does blood, basically he's doing bloodletting out of the veins, because the blood carries the emotion. So
yeah, well, that's with cupping in the Middle East, like all the kind of Muslim guys that I'm following on Instagram, they're all doing wet cupping. So they put the cups on to show the red marks, and then they take them off, and then they kind of do a little incision with a knife. Wow. And then they put the cup back on and draw out the blood.
Oh, wow.
Wet cupping, yeah. And so it draws out all the stagnant blood and energy, but also this kind of emotional release and stuff as well. It's kind of amazing. I mean, they've been doing it, the Egyptians were doing this. It's very ancient. They've been doing it in China for thousands of years as well. I mean, there's something in it, isn't there?
And the Ayurvedic tradition do it as well, don't? I mean, lots of the old traditions do cupping, don't they?
Yeah, and I combine it with gua sha, which is also a Chinese method of scraping the skin. And then I'm using a scanar machine as well, which is just mind-blowing what that can do. Absolutely. I mean, scanar's reversing Parkinson's disease, arthritis, fibromyalgia. I mean, it puts your body back in balance, because it works with your. You received it, didn't you, at my festival with Jenny?
Yeah, I had it a few times. Yeah.
She trained me. Yeah, she trained me up. She teaches now in Chichester. Yeah.
How do you spell that? What's that? Scanar?
Yeah, it's SCENAR.
Okay.
It's Russian. It was a Russian thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was invented by the Russians.
Of course it was.
Actually, and they use it, and it's predominantly known as a pain relief tool, and we are only allowed by the FDA to refer to ourselves as pain relief therapists. But if everybody knew what it really did, it would put pharmacy out of business.
So what does it really do then?
It's an electrical system, and it puts your body back in balance. If I'm working on an injury, it's a bit like acupuncture. It's alerting the brain to, like, here, send all the energy and endorphins and healing to this area. And so I'll treat somebody 1 day or 3, and then that kind of activates the healing system. And then 3 days later, I check up on them, and they say, yeah, because it's like a gradual improvement after you've had the treatment. If you've got cancer or fibromyalgia or Parkinson's disease or something like that, or fertility issues, you're looking at maybe needing 3 treatments a week for a while.
Wow.
So it can be expensive, and I do drop the price for people because I want to help people, but I still need a payment. But I do drop the price quite significantly if they need a lot. But yeah, it's phenomenal what it's doing. I mean, we're not allowed to use it on people with epilepsy in the UK. Well, we've been told we're not allowed, but it's just they say it's a contraindication. But in South America, I know there's some people that I was following, and they've been reversing epilepsy. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm not 100% sure how it really works. I know it works on the electrical system. I know it uses frequency, but it's just what I'm experiencing with my clients is unbelievable. Yeah,
and these frequency technologies, they've been used for so long, and they were used way back, like 100 years ago or something, and it basically got shut down by the Rockefellers and the pharmaceutical industry, but they were getting amazing results, and it got shut down, and it's starting to make a comeback. I got my wife doing frequency specific microcurrents to help with concussion. So all of these technologies are, and there's so many tools and technologies and hidden things, like talking about the cupping and wet cupping, and just like all of these amazing things that were just like have been thrown out, but there's tools everywhere, and there's wisdom all over. It's just I love hearing this stuff. It's just brilliant.
It makes me think, what else is hidden from us? I want to more. What else? Yeah. And I really loved when I was kind of training, like with the shaman, and that's kind of ancient Inca wisdom. When we were more tuned into the world around us and each other and ourselves. And so to have that energy kind of bestowed upon me, and that knowledge, and just doing workshops with that has really kind of tuned me in a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like we need more of that.
So just go back a sec to oh, go ahead. Sorry,
I was just saying, when you talk to people about it, they think you're a bit kooky, but science always catches up in the end, doesn't it?
Yeah, I like that. Science catches up. You're absolutely right.
It does catch up in the end. It's just the research isn't channeled in that direction. The research is always channeled into pharmacy. So if they channeled it into the other direction, I know people do, but the big, our authority on healthcare will only channel. And this is what's really, am I allowed to swear? This is what's really annoyed me.
You can swear. We just have to put a disclaimer on that it's not child friendly. I swear, and I don't know if we put that disclaimer on or not.
But it's just about how peed off I've been about this whole COVID situation, and whether you believe it's whatever. I'm not going to get into the controversial.
Oh yeah, just don't use that word again. Now you've done it once, because he'll pick up on it.
Okay, but it just shows, how our authorities are so biased towards pharmacy when no one's even looked. And then the naturopathic doctors are discovering that, well, some people get ill and some people don't because of a lack of the antioxidant glutathione. I can never pronounce it.
Glutathione, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's it. I can never pronounce them properly because I've never been taught them. I've read them. So I'm always pronouncing things wrong. Yeah, and so it's like, well, you have to find this. You always have to find the information out alternatively, and it's just annoying that our healthcare system is that behind.
So broken, yeah.
In this situation, that they haven't got our best interest at heart at all. There hasn't been anything to do with what you can do to actually look after yourself. It's just been biased towards vaccine, and it's just proves, doesn't it, that it's all about the money and not about the health.
So now you've mentioned those two words, right?
That's it. We're getting shut down. Thanks, Jenna. Just use the two words that will shut YouTube channels down. You're brilliant. We love you.
So anyway, what I'm just about to add in there,
I think that's actually those words are worse than swear words. You'd be better off swearing and not saying those words, and we wouldn't get shut down for swearing. So
yeah, swear all you like, but don't use those words, especially not 3 times in a row. I mean, my God.
I'm thinking about that subject now.
It's like Voldemort or something in Harry Potter,
So right, I'm just going to tell you this little story. Right, I was down next door, and I was in the garden, and my mate came wandering around to find me, and I said, "Oh, how are you doing then?" And he said, "Well, Phil." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, last Friday I died." And I was like, "What do you mean you died?" He said, "Well, I was at a works leaving do, and He said someone was saying something. He said, so I got up to give them a bit of banter, he said, and just play it a bit large. He said, and that was it. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, I was just in the next thing, apparently I was in the flower bed. And then the paramedics came and brought me round. Then I went again. Then they were trying to get an air ambulance. And then I went again. And then I was in the ambulance getting rushed to hospital and I died again. And my mate's so funny. I just laughed with him at the time. And apparently they could find nothing wrong with him at all. But he had this, it was the equivalent of having a head trauma. So I said to him, did you have the needle? Have you had it yet? He said, oh, yeah, it's nothing to do with that. He said, I had that 2 months ago.
Wow.
Nothing wrong with him. He's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
All the tests revealed nothing, but the symptoms were of a head trauma.
I've been having a lot of people post needle who have sudden onset of knee complaints.
Oh, interesting.
I was talking to Jenny, my friend who does Scanar too, and she was saying and then we suddenly linked it, saying, well, the knee's related to the liver,
kidney.
So
knees and lower back governed by the kidney.
Oh, okay, maybe I got it wrong. There I go. Really good example of my healing expertise. But yeah, so we were wondering if that, even my mum.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, the two things there, Jenna, is number one, it's very liver toxic. Number two, it's very kidney toxic. So take your pick which one it's affecting.
It's messing with the organs, guys.
And then pretty much any of these needles are going to cause brain inflammation. So toxins, especially when they've got heavy metals, especially the regular ones, the heavy metals, definitely cause brain inflammation. So yeah, it's right there.
Oh, Jenny, you've got us on a subject now. You took us down that deep, dark, slippery slope.
Let's just go back a step. I'm going to go back a step, Jenna, because you're talking about detox. And we got kind of lost in detox and lost in the head stuff of the physical stuff. So where do you start with somebody? Where do you start with somebody when you're going into detox? Let's just bring you down to earth a little bit here.
I think it depends on the person. It depends how toxic they are. You can't go bang, here you go, let's put your body into shock, and because if they I mean, I don't know, maybe you do it differently, but it just really depends on the person. And I actually like to be as gentle as possible and just wean them. And I think they're going to make more success if you're just making little changes along the way. Like I facilitated an April detox. And one of my friends joined in, and this is like totally out of her zone. She's a complete party animal. She loves her food and meat and drink and her alcohol. Not necessarily unheard of for her to be sticking loads of cocaine up her nose and whatever.
Oh wow.
She is out there, just never. She even posted on something the other day. She said, yes, this is me talking. I haven't been fraked, because she's talking about going on to raw food. But she did my April detox, and she didn't do a detox like everybody else was doing it. She cut out booze, and that is a big deal. So if maybe for a month you're just cutting out booze, your body is going to detox a bit to what it's used to if you do drink booze every day. So it's not our kind of detox, because we've been on a journey. We've been on our life journey. And, but some of the people I see just giving up alcohol for a week is so tough, and so to do that gradually. So she did the month with no alcohol, and in that month she bought a juicer and she started juicing. So she was still eating meat, she probably still had a bit of this and a bit of that, but she started juicing and she gave up alcohol, and just that alone she felt amazing. So she's like, oh, I feel good. And I'm like, you can feel better. And so she's saying, Jenna, I really, really want to do more. So I'm doing this 30-day cleanse in June, and I'm just doing like £1 a day. I'm making it easy for people. But I just think it helps to have a group, because you can all kind of be there for support and accountability, because that's another thing I find people struggle with. If they're left to their own devices and you just say, here you go, do that, and then it's just hard. And I think having that daily kind of accountability keeps you on track.
I think group work though, Jenna, sorry, whatever you're doing, I think people really undervalue now group work. And group work, whether you're doing physical, emotional, spiritual, whether you're working, whether you're trying to get your website up together, whether you're trying to learn social media, it's so, whatever you're doing, it's so much more impactful in a group.
Animals, aren't we?
Yeah. And also it's that thing about being, what's that word you used? Accountable. Accountability coaching is probably what's needed as much as anything else now. Because what do we all do? Oh, I do it in the morning. Oh, I do it tomorrow. Oh, I do it when I've got some time. And unless you say to someone, right, I'm going to do that on the 1st of June or whatever, because that's what I'm aiming to do for myself, is do another big detox. I'm starting in June. And sharing it with someone, I think, is really important, because they can say, as long as you're really loving with each other and really gentle with each other, and saying, so have you got yourself ready? Are you prepared? Have you got stuff organized? Whatever it needs. And groups, whether it's just 2 of you.
Yeah.
That's what Phil and I do with each other. This show is all about us showing up and being accountable for each other. And that's our discipline. And we don't make it, we've done it. It's nearly 52 weeks. And I think we've missed 4. I think we've missed 4 shows. And there's always been a really good reason. I've been traveling, Phil's been traveling, or, there's always something, there's always a really good reason to do it. But because we've got each other and we don't want to let ourselves or each other or our viewers down, it's really important. So I think group.
Whereas you're on your own, you find an excuse and talk yourself out of it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, always. Like I do for my own channel. There's always a bloody reason for me not to get on and do my own videos, whatever it is.
And you got to find somebody that will hold you accountable, because sometimes we'll pick, well, I'm going to do it with my brother or my sister, which, sometimes works, but sometimes with family members doesn't work as well. So sometimes you need to expand your group out to somebody who really will hold you accountable.
It helps if your ego gets involved as well.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I'm not going to give you pride. I'm not going to let them see that I'm not doing it.
Right.
And do you know what? That's actually, I just want to jump in there about ego, because that's actually where the ego is really, really useful.
Yeah, it's
got its place. People go, oh, ego. But actually, it's ego that gets us on this show. It's ego that gets us to detox. It's ego to make us do something better than we did before. So actually what we need is a healthy, balanced ego. I don't like that word balance, but I think in this case it's good. We need to keep our ego in check, and we need to use it as a tool, as opposed to the ego using us as a tool.
I think it's like with anything, it's becoming familiar with what is that voice? Oh, that's my ego. What's it saying? Just become familiar with it. Know who it is. Know when it's not healthy. Know when it is. That's.
Well, ego it's just our way of interacting with the world, and it's our character. So we're building healthy character, because we got this personality that interacts with the world. Inside, we know that we're infinite consciousness having a human experience, but at the same time, we have a character that we play in this world. So it can play us into being the victim and beating ourselves up all the time, or being the other extreme of being like this egomaniac. But then there is the interaction in the world that we use that ego. It's like, yeah, I eat organic food and I do my juice, and that makes me feel good, and I want to inspire other people to do that too. So yeah, a healthy character can be maybe a different way of describing ego. So
yeah, I think in the spiritual community though, there's this big thing about negating the ego altogether. It's about suppression of the ego, as opposed to becoming, what we need to do is become the commander of our ship, right? We need to be the commander, or the driver of our vehicle, whatever you want to call it. But this is a vessel, it's a ship, a man, we're sailing through the universe, and we need to be the commander up on deck.
The Games Master. There's that old, I don't know if you're familiar with the Lost Tribe,
No.
the old they were like a band in the 90s, and they had that tune Games Master. And it's great because it's from 1998 or something like that. And it talks about becoming aware of yourself as the Games Master.
Oh wow.
And that really spoke to me back then. It was like, yeah, like we're in charge of our life. Like, sorry, my son's just walked in.
Hi.
Hi.
You want to say hello quick? Say hi.
Hi. I recognise that
was
face.
it.
I recognise that face from Instagram.
Oh yeah. Just go and get what you want. Yeah, get Otis to go and sort it out then.
Family Live.
This is a crazy show this week.
I'm just constantly juggling, wearing loads of hats. Sometimes I do get overwhelmed, but I'm wearing all these because I'm a single mum. I've got 4 boys. I'm running a business. Yeah. Luckily, one of them doesn't live with me anymore. He's 24 and he lives in a shared house. And the 17-year-old who does live with me spends all weekends with his brother. So he's quite independent. He'll be at work all week. But yeah, so I've just got the...
Well, in America, it's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day from America. And
Hey.
I think my mum's probably watching too. So happy Mother's Day, Mum in England. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did see someone post something about Mother's Day, but it was a Chinese doctor that I was following, and I thought, oh, is it in China?
Yeah, it's America's Mother's Day today.
Oh, okay. Happy Mother's Day, all you mums.
Yeah, all you American mums.
But then it's like every day is Mother's Day, right?
Well.
I'm guessing it doesn't feel like that then.
No, because I'm juggling. Luckily, I'm co-parenting the younger 2 with their dad, so I homeschool them half the week, and he does the other half. And then so the half that he's doing them, I'm working. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and then juggling everything else in between and all the other things I'm trying to do.
Brilliant.
And yeah, you just got to not watch telly. People say, how have you got time to do what you do? Well, I don't watch telly,
No, I've been watching YouTube learning about cryptocurrency, and man, doesn't that take some time?
Oh, did you send me something earlier? I saw that.
Yeah, that's it looks like a really interesting one. I haven't looked into it yet. I just sent it out. I think I sent it to you and Phil and a few others. It's just something to look into, because I went to see a friend of mine in his shop yesterday, and we were talking about Dogecoin, which is a cryptocurrency. His 2 cousins, right? When Dogecoin was 0.0001 of a pence, his 2 cousins put all they had was £100. They put £100 each on it. They cashed it in last week. 6.8 million each.
Whoa!
Out of 100 quid.
See, I've got a few friends that are into all this stuff, but it still just goes over my head a little bit. Because you hear that you should have got into it at the beginning. So I think, well, is it worth doing now? I've got that b.com on my phone that you
just set it up, get an app, and get it automatically going in. I do it every month. It doesn't matter because Bitcoin is the brand name, so get some of that and just have a little bit going in every week or every month.
At the moment, though, I stick your money in Ethereum because Ethereum is rocketing.
Well, it's high right now, though. Is that like Bitcoin's kind of stable? So I'm wondering.
Bitcoin's stable. Lithium's just taken off.
Yeah.
I mean, lithium's just gone up £700 or £800 since last Thursday.
Yeah. Lithium. I know that one.
And luckily, I had some.
Well done.
Yeah, so it's just a real so right. So I was with my other friend Phil, and we were talking about this. So, and his son was like really challenging us, and it's like, how can we engage him? How can we? So we started talking about cryptocurrency, and all of a sudden he went from like this to. and then so we were talking about the friends that have made all this money, blah 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 blah. So I said to him, so if you made £1 million on cryptocurrency, what would you do with it? He's 11 years old, this lad. I said, what would you do with it? He said, Phil, I'd plant trees.
That's my answer too.
And I was
That's the
like,
best thing.
yeah,
Yes.
he's 11 years old. He's like,
Boom.
yeah. And then throughout the day, he said, I'll tell you what else we could do, Phil. We could give every homeless person a mobile phone.
They've already got one.
Yeah, get this though. And a bit of cryptocurrency. And within a month, if they hadn't used it and made any money, he'd take it off of them.
No.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
And give it to someone else. Because so he was into giving them the opportunity to change their lives.
Creative.
And at 11 years old, I was like, man, that's a genius.
I mean, I was like that at 11. I used to feel really strongly about the homeless. I used to cry when we walked through London and things like that. And then I worked for 6 years with the street homeless. And it just changed my mind because I have offered them, you know, help, and they don't always take it. They you know, it's a difficult one.
Do you know what though?
People are
really...
they're just happier the way that they are and the life that they're living. And you know, sometimes we've got them flats and helped them with everything, and then they've just gone, no, I can't do this. I'm going back to the streets. You know, it's
because actually, do you know what? People that have got houses and flats look at the homeless and think, my God, isn't it awful? But actually, the reality on another, I'm not saying right or wrong, whatever, but on another level, for them, it's so much easier.
And so, you know, some of them, it's by choice. I mean, I met a guy in London the other day and it wasn't, and he'd actually been set fire to while he was sleeping. And he was showing me scars because I was buying him a coffee and we were stood in a queue in Hackney, you know, social distance queue down the street. And he came over asking people for cups of tea. And I said, I'll get you a cup of tea. And so we were waiting. And so then I started talking to him. It turned out he was the same age as me. He looked twice as old. And yeah, and he was telling me that he'd been set fire to, and that the count. I said, well, and he was in hospital for 6 months recovering from being set alight. And then the council just let him back onto the streets, which is really harsh, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The post-traumatic stress that he must be under. And anyway, I tried to find him again and I couldn't because I wanted to help him. And because I used to work in housing support, I would know how to deal with it. But yeah, he said that the council did then find him a flat, but it was up 3 flights of stairs and the lift wasn't working. And because he had been set afire, the skin on his legs had meant that he couldn't bend his knees. Do you know what I mean? That because he'd been burned, the skin melted, and so now he can't bend his knees properly. So he can't get up and down the stairs. So he had to turn that flat down. Anyway, that's probably gone right off of topic, hasn't it?
Surely the council... It's all on topic, really. I kind of went off of there a little bit anyway. So to bring us back around, interesting. Yeah. So we can find another thread back, I think, in amongst where we were, can't we? This is what our shows are normally like. Our shows normally, we do something and then all of a sudden there's this little rabbit hole. It's like, oh, let's go and explore that for a minute.
I'm always thinking we do need another show with Jenna on Detox, another show. So
hey,
this show's been all over. So
it was about Detox.
Well, it kind of was.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah. So like I was saying, like it depends who the person is. And so I work very gradually with them. So it might just be like, come on, let's cut out the booze and whatever else you're doing. Let's definitely cut out the dairy and all these things and try and eat whole foods. And then I'll just wean until I've got them on raw vegan and do it that way. And just work really gently with people. Because I think if it's too big a change, one, they're going to have a massive healing crisis really quickly and not know what's going on. That's going to put them off. Or it's just going to be too hard because it's a drastic change and that's going to put them off. So I tend to just, and there's nothing wrong, we're in no hurry. I've always said it's a journey, isn't it? Health is a journey. And it's like, as long as you're stepping onto the journey and facing in that direction and progressing, even if it's just a tinsy wincy bit each week, don't expect, I know some of you have gone, you discovered raw food and then you just went raw food. And I know that Pete, for instance, did that, and he's been doing it longer or less than you. I don't know, Phil.
Less than me. He started in, I think he's been doing it 14 years, and I've been doing it. This is my 22nd year.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and I did it for 18 months solidly, and in that time I cured my asthma and allergies and IBS and depression and arthritic issues I was getting. You know, all these things. Just I didn't set out to cure these things. I had them and just lived with them. I thought that was just normal. And that was just me. I met Pete at my first festival in 2012, tasted his apple pie and custard, and a light bulb moment went off in my head. I was like, oh my God, that tastes better than any apple pie and custard I've ever had. And I was like, what? And so you're raw vegan, but you can eat all these desserts and this chocolate. I mean, I was such a kind of sweet tooth person. It's like, but if I can eat salads and then have all these puddings and chocolates, I can do that. That's easy. And I always thought I was really healthy anyway, because I'd been vegan I'd been vegetarian since I was 12, because I grew up next to the meat factory. I used to hear the animals going in and being slaughtered, which is a little bit off. And me and my friend, I was an animal rights activist from the age of 12, and I used to leave hate mail for the staff on the gates of this meat factory. and then, and then I turned vegan at 19, and I haven't, there were times, there were periods where I slipped off and slipped back on and whatever. And then I was macrobiotic from about 20, when I was 20. And so I always thought I was a healthy eater, but I still had asthma, I still had IBS, I still had depression. Yeah, I was a vegan, eating whole foods. I mean, it wasn't like a vegan like you're a vegan now, where you've got all these burgers and ice creams and cakes and everything available to you. There was nothing available to us. Alternatively, you had to eat healthy but it was so I ate all whole foods, but I still wasn't healthy. And it wasn't until I went raw vegan, raw, that's when I was like, oh my God, I've noticed I haven't had an asthma attack. Oh, there's a cat walking across me and my eyes aren't itching and it hasn't triggered my asthma. Oh, my asthma seems to have disappeared. And then all these aches and pains that I'd had, I'd broken my jaw when I was a kid and fell off my bike, and it was starting to it used to lock a lot, and it was always painful in damp weather. That's disappeared. I mean, it's literally reversed all these arthritic things. I also broke my elbow. The same similar thing used to happen. So yeah, anxiety and depression. I mean, you don't relate that to food, do you? Well, I do, but people don't. And I didn't then. And so I went raw vegan because I'd met Pete and wanted to try this idea of food. And after 18 months, I was sort of looking back thinking, I haven't got any of these issues that I used to have. So it's the diet. And yeah, I mean, I slip off and on the wagon quite a lot. But when I slip off, I mean, I'm high raw. Half my plate is always raw. I'm always juicing. So when I slip off the wagon, it's like it's a jacket potato. Do you know what I mean? It's
carbs.
It's a little bit of tofu. It's a little bit of fried mushroom. I'm not massively off the wagon, but every now and again I might, and I don't hate myself for it like I used to, because
that's really important, actually.
Because really it's unhealthy to kind of be so obsessive about a direction and a way that you want to be. I learned this myself, through experience. And then you become so obsessive about it, and then that's not healthy. You get angry with yourself if you went to somebody's house for dinner and they gave you something else, or so it's just finding what works for you, isn't it? But I always stick to high raw. I say I'm high raw rather than I think I say it so that it allows me to have those little slip ups if I need to or if I want to.
See, it's interesting that you're using the word slip up, because that's still there for you.
I know it's still.
And actually, my program. You're choosing to eat it, so therefore it's not slipping up.
No.
So that slip up is a bit of a beat up. Do you know what I mean? So actually, NLP that one.
Yeah, I know. The NLP is all about the language you use. You can read people's minds by the language they use, you know. And so yeah, I'm always catching myself and going, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Isn't it?
Let's talk. Yeah,
So
definitely.
you're not slipping up. You're choosing to do it, and then that's really empowering.
Yeah,
It's
but
more,
then
change
and
the
when,
language there.
but if I do it and then I've maybe had something which I would say was more unhealthy, you know, because if you start having lots of cooked food, then other things come in, don't they? And you're like, oh well, I'll just have a bit of toast because there's nothing else to eat and I'm in a hurry and do you know what I mean? And then the bloated tummy comes back, and then maybe a mood swing, and you think, oh, hang on, this isn't good. And so then I'll do like a 2-day juice cleanse as a reset.
Oh,
so
wow.
I just find that that's a reset. It stops any kind of carby cravings, and you know, that's what I tend to do. But then I did that 10-day juice cleanse in March. And I want to revisit that as well. I felt amazing.
So they did a 10-day, it was just a juice fast, so you say cleanse, what did you do? What was that?
Just juice for 10 days. I didn't follow any particular, just juiced what I had. What I felt like each day. And that was incredible, because I juiced and cleansed that way, but never for that long, and I could have easily gone further. And then we just got really cold, wet weather, and it kind of just you feel like, you know, you want something else. But yeah, I definitely in the summer I'm going to revisit and see how long I can kind of juice for, because
something I find useful if you're like, you know, like for instance, in the morning with me, I always do warm lemon and lemon and lime juice, or even sometimes what I do is I'll do 1 lemon, 1 lime, and 5 or 6 oranges, and then top it up with warm water, so it's never cold.
Okay.
Yeah. And that, you know, so in the winter time, if you wanted to extend it a bit more, that's how you could do it. Would be to add add warm water to especially to your citrus juice. You can add warm water to it, and then you've got a warm juice, which means you can do it for longer.
Yeah, because I did start introducing some raw soups, and that's where I just chuck everything in the blender and then just warm it up.
Yep.
And do that.
But you know, again, to do a raw soup, you just get some warm water in the first place and chuck it in.
Yeah.
And then blend your soup with warm water. So that's what I've done in the past. Okay. And you know, things like like a raw brothy soup thing. So what I was doing I don't know, a couple of winters ago, 2 or 3 winters ago, was I'd use frozen garden pea, organic frozen garden peas, organic frozen sweet corn, some spaghetti seaweed, and some miso, and put that in, and maybe some mushrooms, and put that in warm water, and then put it into a bain-marie, and then warm it with the bain-marie right through, and that makes this really amazing winter warming broth.
What's a bain-marie?
A bain-marie is when you have a saucepan of water with I use a china bowl or a glass bowl and put it over the top, so you get an indirect heat source.
Chocolate, like when you're
like a double boiler kind of thing.
Double boiler, Phil. Yes, that's right. Okay. He's just playing devil's advocate, so I have to explain myself.
No, I'm serious. I've never heard that word before.
Well, I don't use it very much these days, but it will be in an old recipe book, won't it?
A bain-marie is what you would call a double boiler. So it's a bowl with your product inside a saucepan of hot water, so the product doesn't actually ever hit the direct heat source, and that way it warms it through without it actually getting too hot. Unless you boil the water and leave it in there for too long, then it will boil. So you can get it as warm, you can get it as cool or as warm as you like that way. It's a really good way of monitoring the heat of what you want to be making.
See, that's the only thing I find about fully raw in this country that really affects a lot of people is our weather. And when it's so cold, your body needs more calories, and so you're kind of just eating a lot. When I had a sauna, when I was on the farm and had a sauna, it was easy.
That yes,
because I've moved for a year.
Fires.
Yeah.
So I think it's all about cleansing. It's all about the detox. It's all about the tissue. And for me, I'm a builder, right? I work outside all day. And I've been on juice and smoothers all winter. With my
Wow.
little short with my little short trainer socks on. I was determined this year for the first time ever that I would wear these little socks all winter. And even when I was outside and it was -5, I had long johns on, right? But I managed to keep these little socks on all winter. And, you know, and that for me is the first time ever that I've managed to do that, because as you detox, the body just becomes so much more efficient. So therefore you need less calories, you need less density. You know, and I was talking to a lady just this morning, actually. She'd been doing the Wim Hof method. Phil's big into the Wim Hof method. And you know, she's been saying
the lake. This is my little rabbit.
Oh wow.
Aw.
Little bunny.
It's my little dog, see?
Oh,
That was so funny, Phil. Do you know what, Jenna? His dog watches the show every single week.
I don't know about watches. She sits next to me sleeping.
Wow. She's here.
do you want to see where my dogs are when you say they watch you? Okay, I'm just gonna flip the camera. I don't know if I can do it that way. I might have to just look. There's my dogs.
Aww. Hi guys.
Let us in, and I'm like, no, you're not coming in because you'll be too distracting.
Wow.
Come up and lick me and what
Look
have
at
you.
that
So they're
bunny.
just
Aw, does that bunny just run around your house?
the rabbit. Yeah,
Aw. So
That's
cute.
brilliant.
Yeah.
The
it's
rabbits-
lovely living with people because I realise I'm a rabbit.
Oh, we've lost you.
There she is.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
there you go.
I lost connection. Have you lost me?
No,
I
you're
think it's
back
probably I
again.
moved my phone, didn't I? Can you hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're better.
Oh, good. It's probably when I moved the phone.
Are you doing this on the phone?
Yeah, because my laptop's broken.
That's amazing. It's a good picture and good sound quality.
That's good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta leave in a minute. I thought I was talking. Somebody else was talking, but I gotta go to meet a friend. So, if you want to keep talking, you can. But I'm gonna have to step off in a few minutes. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, Phil, let's wind up the show, and then Jenna and I, if she wants to, we can have a little chat for a few minutes, and then and you can go, and then maybe we can have Jenna back on again, and we can start at the beginning. And
yeah, I want to do a fresh show from the beginning and really go into detox, and have a little bit of a structure to it, because there's so much. There's a lot here I want to cover. So
Okay.
yeah, so
come back. It's been fun.
yeah.
So what we'll do, Jenna, is Phil and I'll wind up the show now. If you just stay on, Phil will leave, stop the recording and the live, and then we'll carry on.
Lovely to meet you, Philip.
Yeah, you too, Jenna. Thank you. Well, I'm Phil.
And I'm Phil.
And this has been one of the craziest episodes of the Phil and Phil show ever. So there you go. But fabulous as always.
So thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting us. Go to our website, philandphil.com. Check it out. There's also a donation button if you guys would like to leave us a donation so we can do our work and carry on. Yeah, we always forget to say this. Hit the like button, please, guys. If you've enjoyed the show, hit the like button, subscribe. We really appreciate your support. Yeah, thanks for watching.
Jenna, do you have a website?
No, but my Instagram is Love Life Health. I've got a website coming out, but there's a little bit of rebranding going on and what have you. But at the moment, you can find me on Instagram, love.life/health.
Okay, great. Love you, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.